Here's your paper. Okay, I'm going to read you a passage. And have you ever heard of anything of think alouds?
No.
No? Okay, well I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you how we do a think aloud.
I think to see the microphone pointing our direction.
No, I don't want to record our faces, okay? Just our voices.
I don't the microphone's right now, so
and as long as we speak loud enough, there won't be a problem, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, look at your paper. Look at mine. We're going to do a think aloud together. And you're going to listen, okay? So, the first passage is called The Mining Boom. The mining boom in the... Okay, so let me go to my page.
Wasn't there also one in Canada?
Let's find out. What's going to tell us something about this, okay? Okay, the mining boom. The mining boom in the western states has begun with the California gold rush of 1849. When the gold rush ended... I don't think it's
recording. Actually, it is.
When the gold rush ended, miners looked for new opportunities. The merest rumor of gold sent them racing east in search of new strikes. You know, I saw a movie about the gold rush and how people fought each other over a tiny patch of land if they thought there was gold in it. A lot of people died, and most of them never found any gold. So that's like remember I added, because that's not in there, but that's something I just thought about whenever I was reading. Gold and silver strikes. In 1859, two young prospectors struck gold in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Suddenly, another miner, Henry Comstock, appeared. "The land is mine," he cried, and demanded to make a partner. From then on, Comstock boasted about his mine. The strike would become known as the Comstock Lode. A lode is a very rich vein of gold or silver. I wonder why the two miners just let him butt in like that and take over. Did they ask for any proof that the land was his? Comstock and his partners often complained about the heavy blue sand that was mixed in with the gold. It clogged the devices used for separating the gold and made the gold hard to reach. When the Mexican miners took the dang blue stuff to an expert in California, tests showed it was loaded with silver. Comstock had stumbled onto one of the richest silver mines in the world. Comstock wasn't a miner, but to have checked the blue stuff himself, he was certainly very lucky. But it doesn't seem really fair that he should make all the money when all the Mexicans who found out about what the blue sand was. Now ask the student... Miners moved into many other areas of the West. Many found valuable ore in Montana and Idaho. Others struck it rich in Colorado in the 1870s. Miners discovered gold in the Black Hills of South Dakota. In the late 1890s, thousands rushed north to Alaska after major gold strikes were made there. This is just telling where you found ore in different states other than California, such as Alaska and Montana. Towns sprang up near all the major mining sites. First, miners built a tent city near the diggings. Then, thousands of people came to supply the miners' needs. Traders brought mule teams loaded with tools, food, and clothing. Merchants hauled in wagon loads of supplies and set up stores. This makes a lot of sense. You go where the business is. If I were living then, I probably wouldn't have wanted to be a miner, but wouldn't have minded being a shopkeeper. It was probably an easier job. Soon, wood frame houses, hotels, restaurants, and stores replaced the tents. For example, it took less than a year for the mining camp at Comstock Lode to become a boom town of Virginia City, Nevada. I just figured it out. They were called boom towns because business was booming there. I never thought of it that way before. Many boom towns lasted for only a few years. When the gold or silver was gone, miners moved away. Without miners for customers, businesses often had to close. In this way, a boomtown called could quickly go bust and turn into a ghost town. Still, more boomtowns survived and prospered even after the mines shut down in these towns. Miners stayed and found new ways to make a living. They probably became farmers or raised cattle. Maybe they made stuff like furniture, wagons, or guns. The ones who stayed had to be pretty clever to survive. Okay, you read the last paragraph for me. The surge, where it says the surge of miners.
The surge of miners into the west created problems. The mines in town polluted clear mountain streams. Miners cut forests of wood for buildings. Few miners got rich quickly. Much of gold and silver lay deeper underground. It could be reached only from its costly merchantry. Eventually, most mining in the West was taken over by large companies that could afford to buy the equipment.
This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. How did they know it was underground if it was so deep? No. Okay, I'm going to have you read the next in this book. There's one called Abraham Lincoln. You're going to read it, and I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? So this is your book. It's called Abraham Lincoln. And I'm going to have you read it, and then there's some questions I'm going to ask you when you're done reading it, okay? Go ahead and read this one out loud for me.
Abraham Lincoln was 19 years old. He visited the city of New Orleans. He saw things he would never forget. He saw black people being sold into slave markets. They were chained together and treated like animals. Lincoln watched little children being sold to strangers and taken away from their parents. Lincoln was heartbroken, and the memories they meshed with his life. Although slavery was allowed in many states of the Union, Lincoln believed that it was wrong and he was not afraid to say so. In 1858, Lincoln ran for the United States. United States Senate against Stephen Douglas. There was much talk about slavery. Should the owning of slaves be allowed in new states that were just coming into the Union? Douglas said that the decision to own slaves is up to the individual person. Lincoln said that slavery must not be allowed to spread because it is wrong. He knew it would not be easy to end slavery in those states, so that it had been allowed for so many years. Lincoln believed it was important to keep the United States strong. He felt that slavery weakened the country. In one speech, he said the country could not last half slave and half free. He said, "The house divided himself can't stand." Lincoln lost the election in the Senate. He only became known for his views. In 1860, he ran for president of the United States. The slave states opposed Lincoln as president. He did not want Abraham Lincoln to abolish slavery. They threatened to leave the Union if Lincoln was elected. When he became president, the slave states carried out their threat. A terrible war broke out between northern and southern states. And at times, members of the same family were fighting against one another. In 1863, Lincoln gave another order called the Embarrass Proclamation, which ended slavery The war ended 2 years later. The southern states once more became part of the Union, but slavery was no longer allowed. No more would little children be torn from their parents and sold to strangers. Abraham Lincoln had achieved his goal.
Okay, stop. Let me see. Let's see what I need to do. Okay, what is the setting and background? Actually, let me go back to this first page. I forgot. There it is. Who was Abraham Lincoln? Tell me who was Abraham Lincoln?
He was one of the United States presidents.
Okay, next I want to know, what are the evils of slavery?
The evil of slavery is that it is like that people are nobody deserves to, it's wrong for somebody to own someone else because the other person is their own is a person as well, and it's wrong for slavery to even exist. Well, it does, unfortunately. Still, in some parts of the world, it still exists.
Unfortunately, you're right. Why was the Civil War fought?
Because Abraham Lincoln was elected as president, and they didn't want to keep slaves.
Good job. Remember that. What were the results of the Civil War?
That slavery ended, and the southern states were once again part of the Union. But afterward, there was no slavery.
Okay, good job. Let's see. Tell me a little bit about the background of Abraham Lincoln. So when you were reading it, tell me some things about the setting or background about Abraham Lincoln.
Well, when he was 19, he's saw families being taken apart and being sold in markets, and it changed him forever.
Okay. Tell me the goal. What was Lincoln's goal?
To abolish slavery.
Okay, tell me some events of his life.
Events of his life?
That were in the story.
Well, he tried to get the United States Senate to abolish slavery, and he was not. And later, he became president. He abolished slavery.
Okay, so let me say it this way. Tell me the list of what happened. Think about what happened to it. Tell me a list of the events that happened through the whole story, from the beginning to the end. What happened first?
When he was 19 years old, he visited New Orleans.
Okay, thank you. Then what else happened?
And the next thing it says that he saw people being treated like animals.
Mm-hmm. And then what else happened?
And then after that, Abraham Lincoln believed that slavery was wrong and shouldn't be allowed.
Okay, all right. What else? He did more.
And then he ran for the United States Senate against Stephen Douglas.
That's right, he did. Then what? So what? When he did that, what happened next?
Then the southern states threatened to leave the Union if he was elected president. And it's kind of wrong that there were so many people that thought they should keep slavery.
Mm-hmm.
That's just wrong.
Okay. What kind of things at the end? What happened at the end for resolution? What ended up happening?
Also, war ended up happening.
After the war, what happened?
As a result of the war, slavery was no longer allowed. And other southern states rejoined the Union, although slavery wasn't allowed after they rejoined the Union.
Okay, good job. All right. What was Abraham Lincoln's main goal?
To abolish slavery.
Okay, and name one thing that Abraham Lincoln saw in the slave markets of New Orleans.
He saw families being ripped apart and sold as slaves.
Okay, how did the sights of the slave market influence Abraham Lincoln's life? How did it influence him?
How did it influence him? It made him want to abolish slavery.
Okay, what office did Abraham Lincoln run for against Douglas?
The United States Senate.
What did the southern states threaten to do if Abraham Lincoln was elected president?
To leave the Union.
Why did the southern states oppose Abraham Lincoln as president?
Because they opposed the ending of slavery.
Okay, how did Abraham Lincoln's prediction, a house divided against itself cannot stand, come true?
Because the Civil War.
What did
the Civil War proved that a house divided can't stand together.
What did the Emancipation Proclamation
do? The what?
What did the Emancipation Proclamation do?
The Emancipation Proclamation.
What did it do?
And it abolished slavery.
Good job. Let me see. Now, I'm going to go to the next one.
How many more of these do we have to do?
I don't know. Okay. Oh, we're on the life of Lois Lowry.
That was like the lifeline of the Nile.
Now we're on this one next. The life of this one I want you to read to yourself. Okay? And then I'm going to ask you the questions instead of reading it out loud, alright? Okay, can you do that for me? So go ahead and start.
I'm going for 18 minutes.
That's fine. Go ahead and read this for me, and then I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
So start here at the beginning of the early life of Lois Lowry.
Did they ever?
What did you want to know?
Should you're the giver?
Oh, okay. Keep going.
Oh.
Let me know when you're done reading and I'll ask you your questions. Did you finish?
Yeah.
Okay. First question I have is, who is Lois Lowry?
I think Lois Lowry is the writer of two Newbery Award-winning books.
Okay, good job. Now, what does imagination mean? What does imagination mean?
I don't understand what imagination is. I don't really understand what imagination, what it means. You know what it is, but you don't know what it means.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, I did that. Okay, I'll pick it up in a minute. I'll get a different pen. Let's see.
Grab it.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. All right, my next question is, what does it mean to have a shy personality? What does it mean?
You're not really quite as open. You know, you're not really quite as open to others about certain things. You're not very comfortable around others.
Okay, good job. All right, now, what does emerge mean?
It means to come out. It means to come out. To come out of somewhere or someplace. You know.
All right. Tell me something about, without looking back, tell me something about the setting, the background, and the characters in the story, The Early Life of Lois Lowry.
Not the characters.
Something about the setting, background, and characters of the story, The Early Life of Lois Lowry.
He only likes adventure books with people who had adventures.
Okay, something about the characters.
When she was 8 or 10, her father ended up going to Japan because her father was in the military, was an army dentist, so he moved a lot of places.
Okay. So, tell me something about her goal. The goal of her books was what? The goal of her books was what?
She used her child and her feelings to write some of her books.
Oh, good job. Okay, now,
Can't stop, sheesh.
please, because that's not very nice for her. Okay, now let's see.
Okay, I'll do something else to cope
Okay,
things
ready?
more.
All right, let's see. Who is Lois Lowry? Tell me something about Lois Lowry. Who is she?
Whenever she was 3, she could read.
No. Well, no, I said who is Lois Lowry?
A writer?
Okay, what kind of writer is she?
What kind of book?
Who does she write for?
Youth?
Writer?
Yeah, I'll get something else to do it. That's annoying. What? That's
Okay, according to the story, where does Lois Lowry get the ideas for her books?
from her childhood.
How did the fact that Lois learned to read very young affect her childhood?
That she was reading a lot of books that filled her imagination.
Why didn't Lois's mother get upset when Lois checked out The Tree Grows in Brooklyn from the library?
Because she read through it and she called back to the librarian and said that the book had nothing in it that would do any harm to a 10-year-old daughter.
How might Lois's understanding of the main characters in The Yearling and A Tree Grows in Brooklyn have affected her behavior in Japan?
Well, all of the books that she liked to read had people in them that had adventures.
What does Lois remember about Tokyo?
She remembered that she would sometimes sneak out of the small American style town and talk to some of the other girls her age.
Why didn't Lois speak to the Japanese school children about her age?
I don't remember saying anything about her age.
You can look back if you want on that question.
Yeah, but I didn't when I was reading through it.
Well, let's try to just look back and see what you think. Why didn't Lois speak to the Japanese school children? Why didn't Lois speak to the Japanese school children her age?
No, she did, she said. And she said that she did in the book. The ones at her age. Did I just say this? That she taught some of the Japanese girls her age?
Okay, that's fine. Why does Lois write about the difficulties of being young?
Because Because the world didn't always respect the youth.
So you said the world should respect the youth.
And I said the world didn't always respect the youth.
Didn't always respect. Thank you. Okay. We're going to go to the next section. This one I'm going to have you read out loud. The Lifeline of the Nile. It's just one page. Okay, go ahead and read that one out loud for me.
How has we done?
I'm not sure when we'll be done, okay? There won't be too much longer. The Lifeline of the Nile. Go ahead and read that out loud for me. Go ahead and read this out loud.
The Nile River was the longest river in the world. It began in East Africa and flows northward into Egypt. Surrounded by hot, sandy deserts, the Nile brought life to the people who lived by it. In ancient Egypt, the Nile was irrigated the land that stretched about 5 miles on both sides of the river. This is where Egyptian civilization began and agriculture thrived. The Nile overflowed because of heavy rains in East Africa. Many people living near the Nile planted seeds after the flood. A harvest in the late summer, they called this area the Black Land because the land was very fertile. And the wheat and barley was the most important crop in Egypt. Paris was another vegetable crop, valuable crop that the Egyptians used to stems make paper. The paper making process involves cutting the strips into the plant stem, pressing into each other. When the pressed strips dried, they produced a smooth surface. Papyrus became widely used for record keeping. The Nile was also a means of transporting goods. However, the geography of the Nile cargates made it possible to sail south to east Africa without taking a boat out of the water and carrying it. Because the river moves from south to north, the boats needed sails to move. The Nile gave Egyptians many gifts. It also caused problems. Although the Nile did flood regularly, it did not always stay the same way. Sometimes heavy rains caused too much water to overflow, the crops were destroyed, and people lost their lives. Other times, the Nile did not flood enough, and the crops could not grow. Whenever this happened, the Egyptians used the food they stored from spurious harvest.
What I want to know is what happens when there is a flood?
After the flood is the water overflows and it goes to the land.
Okay. What does it mean if something thrives?
It does really good.
Okay. What is meant by fertile land?
That by fertile land.
Mhm.
It means that the land was fertile and the Egyptians took advantage of whenever it flooded. The Egyptians could plant wheat and barley. And then in the summer they harvested it.
Okay. What is a harvest?
When they harvest all the food.
Okay, let's see. Go to the next section. What is the passage mainly about?
What is the passage mainly about?
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly about the lifelines of the Nile. It's mainly about like the Nile and the things that it brought to the Egyptians.
Okay. Why did the Nile River overflow?
Because of the heavy rains from Africa.
Name one important crop that the Egyptians grew.
Wheat and barley.
Okay.
Wheat was the most important crop they grew.
Okay, how do we know the ancient Egyptians were a literate people? That is, they could read and write.
Because they recorded it. Because they recorded the information on paper made from papyrus.
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 Uh-huh. That's a good job. Why did the Egyptians store surplus food?
So that whenever the Nile overflowed too much, or if it didn't overflow enough, they would have enough to make it through that harvest season.
What is another word for waterfall?
Not sure. It's only been 4 minutes.
In what direction?
It's only been 4 minutes.
In what direction did the Nile flow?
From south to east.
Why did a boat need a sail to travel to the south?
Because the sail was what pushed the boat forward.
Okay.
Can we stop after this next one?
Can you stop that for me now?